Why do I always end up in the friend zone? I think we have a lot of things for this week. Then on the next call, we touch a bit more on the things that you did and all the exercises. And we touch a bit on your awareness around the things that you have experienced during the week. Have a good one. See you. Bye-bye. Sounds like a simple question. And if you go on YouTube right now, you might search for it and you find a bunch of answers. But the amount of times that I receive these questions tells me that it's not as simple as it sounds. I'm pretty sure that when guys come to me, they already search for it. They already try to apply all these fixes that they see on the internet. We can look at this as a surface level problem where you adjust a little bit of your behavior, where when something comes in your way, you react in a specific way. And that indeed can work one or two times, but it's not treating the root cause of that, which is deeper. Let's say we can draw a pattern here and try to understand. Let's say we can draw a pattern here. So most of them, when they do come to us, they have a lot of shame towards their masculinity, let's say, quote unquote, or this idea of the macho behavior, the bad boy. And they see that guy as someone that they despise. And one thing in common that we see quite often is that they also never had a really strong father figure in their lives. It's almost like their whole idea of relationships or the things that they find are attractive or that the woman want are coming from their mother. And the things that they told them on how to behave, on how to really treat a woman. Which is not to say that those things are completely wrong and that you should disregard that, but that most of the things are not beneficial in the terms that there was a polarity between feminine and masculine. And that polarity is what is missing to create this attraction. Not only the polarity itself, but the masculine traits that they pushed away because they saw their fathers as like this wrong figure, or that were not present to them. And of course, they loved their mothers and they were young and they took all that information in their heart. So when they see a girl or they see a woman, the idea of how to behave and how to interact with that person comes to the idea that I don't want to hurt my mother. So I don't want to do the things that I was told when I was younger that are wrong towards women, which not necessarily is the correct answer. But the thing here is not about being wrong or right in the things that the woman is saying, but is that you are depriving yourself into behaving in the way that you actually want. So you hide your desires, you hide your masculine traits. It's not that you don't have, is that you put them aside and you pretend that you don't have, because that's what you think that the woman wants. But you are not being trustworthy and you are putting yourself aside. How can you trust someone that doesn't fully express themselves, doesn't fully say what's going on to them? And those are the people that usually just burst out of anger because they think that they are doing everything that the other person wanted them to do in the first place. Okay, it's a lot of information, I know, and you're probably looking for someone really simple that you can implement right away, but stick with me, I think we're getting somewhere here. But first, we need to see if our hypothesis is at least a bit accurate. So for that, I'm gonna call my friend Lorenz, which is a student, master student of psychology, and we see what he thinks about this idea that I just presented to you.
I guess a well-known fact that, when we try to search for love that feels familiar, right? So in early childhood, we learn what love is from the way our caretakers treat us. and talk to us. So it makes sense that we search for stuff that feels similar to that, right? I don't know if it would be like that with every nice guy, that they had a father that was not, did you say maybe toxic? Could be. I think there's no research on that, like from a very psychological perspective. But it makes sense, and I could see it in people I know, from what I've heard from their stories, their childhoods. That would make sense. Yeah.
I do think that it's not like black and white, where, okay, this is the main thing, this is the main reason. No, it's not. I don't think it's like that. But I do see that a lot of these guys that are coming through us, and they are trying to learn with this, how to be more attractive towards the opposite sex. Okay, you're talking about heterosexual attraction. Is that they do have this really strong feeling against this macho idea. So like one night stand, about the macho guy, the jock guy, the competitive guy, and they push that away quite hard. But at the same time, they have a lot of this anger inside them, because they think that they are doing everything that the girl that they are attracted to say that she wants, or that he thinks that's what they want, but they don't get the response back from them. So there's a lot of like angst and anger in the sense where they like feel like, how the fuck they can do that? They always go for these stupid guys. They don't come for me. How can they see it? Which start, well, let's say in a generic term, it feels like this is the toxicality that they are behaving, because they lack this access to their masculinity and to be open about their desires.
Yeah, I mean, there's this concept, not really in psychological research per se, but in several approaches to therapy, for example, that, early in childhood, lots of our behavior, of how we act as an adult, is kind of determined. And that's often we have some strong experiences, some strong negative experiences. Like, for example, dad does something and mom feels really hurt, and we see that as a child. And then it would make sense that many young boys then make kind of like even like a vow to themselves. They swear like, oh, like, this really hurt mom. I will never, when I grow up, I will never make any girl, any woman feel like that, right? And in their childhood self, they can't really understand what actually is going on, and it's hard to take, a differentiated perspective. So they make this really strong statement and try to live by it, when in reality, it's impossible to never hurt anybody. But it's almost like when then these boys grow up and they become men, they still, in that aspect of relationships, they might still live out that mental map that they created when they were 5, and they might not notice it, and they might still think kind of with the mental framework of a 5-year-old, which is not really helpful. So I guess that's maybe kind of what you were saying.
That's really helpful. I think that covers most of the things that I wanted to ask you. All right, thank you so much, bro.
The thing that was still bugging me, all this surface level advice, are they actually pushing that person forward into really change? Or is just getting in the way of what is the important work? To get a bit more insights on that, I went to my friend Martin and asked him what he thinks. Yo bro, so how would you tackle the situation? Because a lot of guys, they are coming and they tell me that they watched a bunch of videos on YouTube. They watched a lot of this TikTok with like this 1-minute advice, and they try to implement these things, but it's just not working for them. And I do have my opinion about it and why I think it doesn't work. And I think we can probably agree on that. But for someone that is, let's say, desperate at the moment, and they just need a quick word of encouragement, things that they can do, more practice, surface level stuff.
Is there anything, any advice that you think they should work on, or is that any quick solutions for this in your opinion, or you think this is a more like long type of work?
Thank you for your question, Leo. And the way I want to answer this is in the following. To really permanently not remain in the friend zone, or to never ever even land in the friend zone in the first place, that does take work. That does take potentially months, maybe even years of uncovering and reintegrating all the aspects of yourself that you have disowned. And the reason why we even end up in the friend zone is because we are imbalanced. We're very much one-sided, if you want to look at it that way. And to bring yourself back into balance, to become whole again, that takes time, because you've been living like this for many, many years. So you can imagine, to reverse that effect, it does take some awareness, it does take some deeper inner work to make that shift. However, every great journey begins with the first step. And because of that, I want to give you a few things that I think can be really helpful for you if you're currently experiencing, you're very nice to girls, you're always trying to treat them right. You hope that eventually they're going to recognize that you're such a great guy if you're constantly available for them, etc. So here's my first piece of advice. And let me tell you also, this is likely going to feel uncomfortable, and you're likely going to think I'm overdoing it, and that is the point of this. And here's my advice. The first thing, if you constantly feel like you're ending up in the friend zone, or maybe you're currently in the friend zone, is to start saying no more often. And I would even recommend to just say no all the time, because that's really going to give you, so first of all, look at it this way. You're currently on this side, very much on the extreme. And what you really want to do now is you want to swing to the opposite side to really see what that's like, which is when you say no all the time. Currently, you're saying yes all the time, right? So you have to swing to the opposite side to really see where is the balance. Once you know both extremes, you can come back into balance. So say no more often, whether that's with friends, with family, with women, anyone, right? This is going to give you a backbone that women are actually looking for, that you're not having when they put you in the friend zone. That's why you end up in the friend zone, because they realize you don't have a backbone. You don't have that strength inside of you that says no if it's authentic to you. And the other thing is to constantly put yourself in situations of discomfort. And I want you to do this consciously and proactively, because obviously you've trained yourself very well not to put yourself in situations of discomfort. You try to look perfect. You try to do it right, to look attractive, right? And I want you to actually scramble this whole concept. To just throw yourself out there, look imperfect, and be messy. To embrace your messiness is the fastest way I have found to get you to a place of authenticity. And authenticity means you have a backbone. That means you have access to your boundaries. You have access to saying no. And that inevitably is going to make you attractive to women. So try those two things. One, say no all the time. Really go to the other extreme until you've come back into balance. And the other one is try to be messy as much as you can. And you will see you become so comfortable with yourself as you're doing this that it effortlessly translates into your romantic life, into your relationships with women. And it's going to transform everything.
So the thing that is really important for us to take from this video is that first, you shouldn't be looking at the relationship with you and another girl as things that you need to do, or things that are ways that you need to behave for that girl to like you back. This is the first mistake that a lot of nice guys do, because they are coming with behaviors or ideas of what they think the woman wants, and they behave in terms of that. But sometimes that can be really deep down in their subconscious, that they are not even aware that they are doing that. And that's also why it's important to have someone that is able to see those patterns and guide you. But that doesn't mean that you need to jump in this work right away or contact me and Martin to start this journey. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's important for you to understand that there might be blockages in the way you behave to actually see those things coming true in the ways that you are behaving and adapting that into relationships. So one of the ways that you can start changing that is one of the exercises that you saw Martin talking about. The other thing is to also try to be more clear in the things that you want and not hide the things that are important for you. So for example, if you have this girl that you are interested in, be bold enough to come with your truth and say to that person that you are interested romantically. Another important part is to start having variety in terms of the partners or the people that you're meeting. Because sometimes you are living in this bubble where you have one or two girls that you are interested in, and then you get super attached to those two specific girls, and they might already be into relationships and you're just like lurking around, waiting for your chance. No, expand the people that you meet. Go do hobbies that you enjoy in your life. Go be social, go to parks, go to cafes, and start really being out there and meeting new people that are going to also teach you new things when you start expanding your mind. And that's one of the beautiful things about traveling, is that you meet people from different cultures and you start understanding how they behave in different scenarios. But the first thing that we need to do is come with the clarity of our intentions. So you shouldn't be hiding that. You think that at some point the other person will finally realize that you are the man of their lives. How can they make this decision for you? I hope this video was at least a bit helpful. I know that there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to come to you in terms of most of the things that we talked about here, which is fine. You don't need to find this answer in one day. You don't even need to find the answers. This whole work is just to realize that you didn't have to do anything at all. We are finding ourselves again. It's not hiding anymore. It's with this clarity that we want to approach the dating world. So instead of being a nice guy, the guy that wants to do everything correctly for the other person, no, we start incorporating things that are important to us also. It's not only about the other person, it's also about ourselves, the things that we are willing to put up, the things that we are willing to go for, and the things that we are going to fight for in terms of not neediness, not from this idea that I really need that person that I never even had a relationship with or a romantic relationship with, but I think she's everything that is going to fix all my internal problems. No, that is not correct. The fact that you might be overly attached to every beautiful girl that you meet, every attractive girl that you meet, is a sign that you are putting yourself too much out there and you are not looking at the things that you can provide yourself so you can fully meet someone from a real place, from a place of clarity. And that's the important work. So stop with the surface level things. Oh, if she does that, I do that. It doesn't matter. You don't want to get in a relationship because you used these manipulative ways. Of course, there are things that you haven't never experienced in your life that you need to practice and that you need to learn. Let's say you don't know how to touch someone romantically, you don't know how to do that romantically, you don't know how to flirt, you don't know how to talk specific things. That comes with experience. You don't need to be worrying too much about that. Those things are come to you when you need them, and you adjust, and you improve, and you keep going. But this should come from this deeper level of understanding the situation, for understanding what is the real goal here. The goal is not to manipulate, the goal is not to have a book so you are in the date and you can, okay, she's doing this, I'm doing this now. No, this is not where we want to be. We want real relationships, truly finding the things that are important to us, reintegrating our shadows, and being full. So if you like this video and this content, it takes a lot of work to do that. And of course, what we are presenting here is our view on the matter and the things that we think are important for you and for your growth in terms of relationships with other people and also with yourself. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe. If you have any questions, just put in the box below. We are also going to have videos weekly where we go about the questions that we receive from you. And I will see you in the next one.